Welcome to the Understanding Bible Prophecy series. This is going to be a fairly short series, but what what I wanted to do is um, go through the different rules and methods people employ when they come up with the understanding of biblical prophecy. Most of this directly relates to just understanding Bible text in the first place, but I've collected some of these over time because they specifically help in understanding prophetic text. And this isn't coming from just some theological perspective. Again, this whole website is sort of the layman's view. But as I read different books and different articles, and then I took a look at um, different uh, interpretations, you would see vast differences in how people went after certain texts. And uh, when I went down many, let's say, fruitless paths and read many books that I thought gave me the accurate perspective, only to have that refuted in a very definitive way when I took a look at, say, the same text that was done from a theologian's standpoint and interpreting the same set of passages. And so this is really more of a summary of the things I've learned so far in looking at prophetic passages, pulling out the different rules of interpretation that um, Bible scholars tend to use when they look at the prophetic passages, and then trying to package it up somewhat to hopefully save people a bunch of time either arguing on points where there's a historical way of interpreting the passage that fits with the whole rest of the Bible, or getting led down a path where somebody takes and peppers in a bunch of passages to prove a point that really isn't biblical. So that's the notion. This is the introduction to understanding Bible prophecy, and then the next series of videos we're going to go through is going to take a look at these different topics. And I'll just introduce them here, and then we'll end the video. First one is hermeneutics and exegesis. They're kind of the same thing. Hermeneutics is the broad framework for understanding something. Could be text, could be oral statement or whatever, but how do you understand it? What's a framework for understanding? Exegesis tends to be specific to text. And so we're going to take a look at these rules, and whether you want to say they're hermeneutics or it's the rules implied to get exegesis or the meaning out of a passage, it doesn't really matter to me which one we use. Again, I'm less about these technical terms and more about what's the concept being employed so that we can take and reuse that going forward. We're going to take a look at something called the analogy of faith. Of course, there's a couple of definitions of it, so we're going to bias a little bit to the Protestant version, and a related concept called sola scriptura. Take a look at the historical grammatical method. Then we're going to look at literal interpretation of a historical narrative. Now that sounds like a load of stuff, but a lot of people say, well, how do you study the Bible literally? And some people take it off the deep end and try and get literal meaning out of things that were supposed to be figurative in the text, and then other people allegorize everything that really is something that's supposed to be fact-based history. And so we're going to take a look at that literal interpretation model, look at how prophecy is written, and this is in general, I'm going to say how prophecy is written. Then we're going to take a quick peek at the Hebrew calendar, and not too deeply, but you need to understand some of this when it comes to all these passages in Revelation and Daniel and other places where it says a time, times, and half a time, or it says 1260 days or 1290 days. Well, what's up with all that? You also need to understand in the Hebrew calendar about their festivals and feasts related to Leviticus 23, because a lot of things that are happening are on God's festival and feast calendar system. And so we're going to take a peek into that. Along with the wedding model, we'll go in there and a few other things that are sort of culturally related to the Hebrew calendar. Then we're going to get into a whole series of things that are just, I think, really good grounding study tools. How does the Bible use allegory? And there's a specific way it uses allegory that's very important in prophecy. And then metaphor. People are very familiar, if you read Revelation, with symbolism or idioms. Actually, symbolism and idioms are used throughout the Bible, and it's important to understand them and see how consistently they're used even throughout the entire Bible. We're also going to take a look at types and antitypes. So we don't have to get into the definition right now, but a lot of times the Bible uses an example in one period of time as sort of a model or an image of what something else is going to be in another period of time. And so types and antitypes. Then we're going to take a look at the meaning of numbers. And believe it or not, in the Bible, there are numbers like the number 7, I think a lot of people are familiar with, has some meaning besides just the numerical value. It's means number 7 means divine completion or something, close to that. And a bunch of numbers in the Bible have those kind of extra meanings besides just the numerical count. And by knowing that, all of a sudden the text sometimes has more to say than just reading it straight through. We're also going to take a look at near-far prophecy, and that's just one style of prophecy, but it's important to know, especially in Isaiah and some of these passages where something's being talked about and it's prophetic when it's being written, and it appears that it was fulfilled potentially in the day or within decades of it being written, but all of a sudden it has a secondary or complete fulfillment later. So some people call it near-far prophecy or dual prophecy. It doesn't matter. We're going to take a look at that. And the last one is the meaning of names. Names in the Bible mean things, and for some people that might be obvious, but every now and then you can get something a little extra if you take a look at the meaning of the name of the people described in the Bible. We're probably going to salt and pepper in one or two other things that I couldn't think of right off the bat, but this is the broad framework of the topics we're going to be taking a look at. So thanks for watching.